You know, I didn't come here to inform you or educate you. That's happened. I hope I came here to inspire you. Okay? Today is a milestone in your life. I like that word milestone because it's stones that create foundations. So this graduation is really a cornerstone. It's probably the most important, at this point, stone in that foundation that you're building. Now, we don't know where your life's going, and you don't know. But if you build a strong foundation, you can build a big house, a big building. The stronger you make your foundation, the more potential you're going to have to succeed. Not just for yourself, not just to make money, but for your family. And maybe to give something back, like Mr. Olin said. Public service, why not? These are the things that differentiate the human species from so many others, and Americans, I believe, from so many others. So in looking at the things, and you know what? I looked at 5 different characteristics that help me succeed. And it's easier to see them now, looking back, than when I was there 50 years ago, looking forward. But I had the seeds of them in me at the time. And by the way, it all begins with you, especially today. Not that your family is important, isn't important, your friends, your teachers, but you are the most important person in your life. Let me give you the 10 most powerful words in the English language. The 10 most powerful words, when put together, are only 2 letters each. If it is to be, it is up to me. You. Does that mean that you don't look for your friends for advice or your family? No. But as Mr. Olin said, you've got to take responsibility for yourself. And if you rely on others, don't blame them. Don't find an excuse. My mother, who had no education, 8th grade, said, Joey, excuses are for losers. You got to be smart enough to see a problem before so that you avoid what you're going to try to excuse later. In other words, in life, don't just be no average. Strive for excellence and then settle for success. Think ahead of what could be a problem and work at it. Preparation, packaging, positioning, push, and then produce. Preparation. Well, you've done that. By what you've done today to be here, you've started the preparation that you need to succeed. But preparation is not just for school. Preparation will continue for the rest of your life. In seeking a job, in seeking a spouse, in all the things that you do, you need to think about it, prepare for it, and act on it, and be smart about it. 2, packaging. Very important. What do I mean by packaging? Packaging is how you present yourself. You don't realize that when you walk into a room, people have already sized you up, and I don't want to sell this guy's book. He's already a multi-millionaire, the president of Fox, Roger Ailes, but he was my video consultant. I paid him $50,000 a year in 1984, 85, 86, 87. I was an accountant. How did I become a congressman? I needed an expert to help me communicate like a public official, not like an accountant who wanted to sell more business. And I had to go on his video day and night until I got it right. And then he said, Joe, I think you can make it now, but it's going to be tough anyway. So this is the book. You are the message. Marshall McLuhan said at one point, the media is the message. No, read this book. I gave this book to my daughter. Many of you may know my daughter was a judge in American Idol. I don't know if you know that. That's DioGuardi. Well, she read this book. And this helped her in the very difficult times when she had to always have a smile on her face, even though she said, Dad, this guy Simon, my stomach was wrenching. She was a singer, a songwriter, a producer, so many things. But she had to be on TV in front of 30 million people. And they sized her up as soon as she walked on the stage, but she knew all the secrets of this book. So, package yourself. What does that start with? As Roger Ailes says, the way you dress, the way you look, the way you speak. Now, many of you have English as a second language. Well, guess what? My parents spoke broken English. And thank God they were smart enough. My dad had a 4th grade education. Mom had 8th grade. They had to go to work. They had to survive like your parents, maybe like you do yourself have to do today. But they wanted me to have a good education. And around the corner from where we lived in the South Bronx on Fordham Road, was this great prep school, Fordham Prep, and at Fordham University, and my mother forced my father to count out of the cash register the tuition for Fordham Prep. He didn't understand, why am I paying when he should go to a school around the corner? My mother said, no, he's got to have a good education. So the Jesuits for 8 years made the difference for me that my parents didn't have an education. Positioning, what's that? Positioning is being smart about who your friends are, what your activities are. Thinking about now, how can I better myself by being with people better than me? Find someone better than you and pay his or her expenses. In other words, take them to lunch and buy them lunch. Be with better people, because that rubs off. Those people who have succeeded can give you information for your success, and they can inspire you. I did that all my life. Now, what's the fourth one? Push. What's push? Push is asking. Once you prepare, once you are competent and confident, if you want something, you got to ask for it. If there's a job you want and you've prepared for it, you've had an interview, make the call again. Can I come down? Can I talk to you? I'd like to, I really have this job. So push is being not obnoxious, not overly aggressive, being assertive. Assertive in a nice way. Asking. If you don't ask for money, and my wife and I raise money for a lot of charities, but if you don't ask, you don't get. And if you don't get, don't be afraid of rejection. Don't be afraid of rejection. If you have that confidence, go out and ask for it. In life, the key word is to produce. And I'm saying this because when you leave today, you're going to get a copy of my book, Unaccountable Congress. I wrote this as a CPA, the inside view on the debt we're putting on you in the next generation. And in it is a little article based on a speech I gave up in Halifax, which means that America may be in trouble. We may not be sustainable anymore if we keep spending money we don't have, borrowing from countries we don't trust like China or anybody else. We may be giving up the American dream. So each one of us has to take responsibility for that. As a former congressman, CPA, I'm trying to change the system so we can count right so you know what the real debt is. Because politicians don't like to tell you bad news, and they're not telling you the real debt. They're giving you the treasury bills, 16.7 trillion. It's over 60 trillion when you count what we owe for Social Security, Medicare. And I got to try to change these rules. By the way, you like that, huh? So, produce. My father said, think of yourself as an owner. And what's the word for that? It's a good English word. It's called proprietor. Think of yourself when you have a job. If you're working in a store or a restaurant, put yourself in the owner's place. He has to pay your salary, or she has to pay. Meaning that you need to do enough work so they can afford to pay you the salary. And if you do more than enough, you ask for a raise. That's being productive. Now, we got to take that forward to this country because not enough citizens in America are being productive today. Now, we know some people can't afford or can't work. There's always that safety net. But we got to be careful that we don't let people who can work gain the rest of the people by not working, and therefore we become an unproductive nation. Build castles in the air. That's where they should be. In other words, think big, work hard, strive. And then he said, like my father would say, for productivity, put foundations under them. In other words, yes, dream, visualize, think big, but don't be afraid to get your hands dirty and go back into those trenches and put the foundations under those dreams. You have that opportunity. God bless you. I'm glad to be here. I'm honored.